In October of this year, the bishops of the world will gather with Pope Francis in Rome to reflect on the theme, Young People, the Faith, and Vocational Discernment. The purpose of this synod is to give the Church the opportunity to examine herself on how she can lead young people to recognize and accept the call to the fullness of life and love, and to ask young people to help her in identifying the most effective way to announce the good news today.
So I think that the Pope's concern with this is very legitimate, because the world is kind of growing up without God.
Well, there are a lot of issues that we face today as youth. I would definitely say that the biggest one is growing up in the society of with this need of purpose. You know, everyone feels like you have to be somebody, you have to have a good job, you have to have the nicest car. What I'd like to hear from the Pope is, I guess, a way, or give me a key for me to live in this world, you know, so I can face things without fear.
I feel like the youth in today's society, they're crying out for help. They're trying to find life. They don't know why they're living. They don't know what's the meaning of their life. They don't have any of these answers. So the answers they find in what the world offers them.
Young people today find themselves in a world beset as much by endless possibilities as by dangers that threaten their identity and risk to derail them of their purpose in life. The hustle and bustle of modern-day society, not to mention an aggressive social media intent on equating human dignity with social recognition, make it ever more challenging for young people today to perceive the Word of God.
I realize going to events or going to galleries or any event where most friends of mine would be, I just find everyone creating kind of like their own world, because their pursuit of happiness is in their grasp, in their own hands, and they sound like they feel alone.
I see now the social media is it's like a drug, and social media users are drug addicts. That every time they need a little bit of affection, a little bit of attention, they give themselves a dose of this drug.
St. John Paul II exhorted the youth of the world not to be afraid to be holy, and he told them to fly high, to be among those whose goals are worthy of the sons and daughters of God, to glorify God in their lives. Pope Francis, on the other hand, never ceases to exhort the Church to leave the comfort of the sacristy and the confines of the rectories, to spare no energy, and to go out and meet young people where they are. If the youth are liable to succumb at times to social pressures and distractions that deviate them from the truth, they will always respond with generosity when the Church approaches them not as a manager or a stepmother, but as mother and teacher. Rather than presuming faith or imposing dogma on them, when the Church speaks the truth in love and accompanies young people in their trials and aspirations, proposes to them the beauty of the gospel and the joys of discipleship, the results always far exceed the Church's own investment. When young people see that the Church is committed to them, loves them, and has an interest in their lives, their generosity is boundless as they respond to the call of the Lord.
I can lean on the Church in my difficulties, because I know that the Church will always be there for me no matter what, just like a mother would be there for their son or their daughter. No matter what they're going through.
The Church has always been there in case, whether I've been faithful or unfaithful. Many times, you know, growing up, there were many things that I didn't accept about my own life, and even today, I can say that there are things that I'm in the process of learning to accept. But the only way I've ever accepted anything about my life has been through the Church.
I ask for God to, lead me in the direction that He wants me to be led. And all of that is because of the church, because the church has taught me these things, because the church has taught me patience. It's brought this feeling into my life where I can turn to the church to be like, what do I do now? Where should I go from here?
One of the ways in which this vitality has become a reality is in the birth and growth of more than 100 Redemptoris Mater seminaries all over the world, where currently more than 2,500 seminarians are preparing for the priesthood. 26 of them, from 10 different countries, are right here in the Archdiocese of Boston. In addition, more than 2,000 missionary priests already ordained in the last 20 years, including 9 for the Archdiocese of Boston, hundreds of families sent in mission to the most secularized parts of the world, all of which are but an unmistakable sign that when young people feel loved by the Church, there arises between them an unbreakable bond of joy and gratitude that blossoms in a life of consecrated service to God, be it in the priesthood, the religious life, or in Christian marriage. Pope Francis recently said that all young people have something to say to the Church, to the bishops, and to the Pope. Will you listen to them?